little brother sitting this shit, playing in this shit, man. My little brother done been driving this shit, man. I don't do this no, man. Come on, man. I don't want to drive this shit.
Pooh Shiesty walked free from federal prison October 2025 after 3 years behind bars for shooting 2 men during a Miami drug deal. But freedom might be more dangerous than his cell ever was. The streets remember everything. The question isn't if they're coming, it's when. His last video had him on his knees. The dangerous streets waiting for Memphis's most wanted. Pooh Shiesty walked out of federal prison on October 7, 2025, completing approximately 3 years of a 63-month sentence for federal firearms charges connected to a 2020 Miami hotel shooting. The Memphis rapper, born Lontrell Donnell Williams Jr., secured early release through good behavior credits and First Step Act time reductions, shaving nearly 2 years off his projected July 2027 exit date. Within hours of release, he reconnected with Memphis associates K Carbon and Big 30 for an immediate studio session, signaling his rapid return to music rather than celebrations that might attract violence or law enforcement scrutiny. The circumstances surrounding his release generated speculation about threats from adversaries cultivated during his 2019-2021 rise, when aggressive lyrics, street conflicts, and publicized beefs created enemies throughout Memphis and beyond. His transition from federal custody's controlled environment into unpredictable street landscapes where rap feuds escalate into lethal violence places him in immediate danger categories that have claimed numerous artists in recent years through assassination, robbery, and street conflicts. The legal troubles began October 20th, 2020, outside the Landon Hotel in Bay Harbor Islands, Florida, when a drug transaction deteriorated into armed robbery and shooting. Pooh Shiesty, then 21, and associate Bobby Brown arranged through Instagram to purchase high-end sneakers and marijuana from 2 individuals. Williams arrived in a rented white McLaren 720S armed with a Draco AK-47 pistol, while Brown carried a handgun. When victim 1 attempted to shortchange them, both Williams and Brown drew weapons. Federal documents confirm Williams fired 1 round, striking victim 1 in the buttocks and victim 2 in the hip. Neither injury proved life-threatening. Following the shooting, they seized the merchandise and cash before fleeing north on the Palmetto Expressway. During escape, a Louis Vuitton bag containing $40,684 fell from the McLaren onto the street. Police recovered it with shell casings matching Draco ammunition. Hotel surveillance captured the complete sequence from arrival through shooting to bag drop. Critically, Williams posted Instagram stories hours later, showing himself in the identical McLaren with cash displays, providing consciousness of guilt evidence and facilitating identification. Fingerprints on the bag and boxes, victim statements, traffic camera tracking, and social media posts created overwhelming evidence, forcing plea negotiations rather than trial. Federal prosecutors indicted Williams on June 29, 2021, charging conspiracy to commit Hobbs Act robbery, conspiracy to possess firearms in furtherance of violent crimes, and discharging a firearm during crime of violence, carrying mandatory minimum 10-year consecutive sentence with life imprisonment maximum. Judge Edwin G. Torres denied bond on July 7, 2021, citing flight risk given Williams' financial resources and touring capabilities, plus danger to community based on demonstrated willingness to discharge firearms in populated areas. This detention removed Williams from music industry during commercial peak, interrupting touring schedules and recording sessions for his debut mixtape, generating substantial streaming revenue. Parallel to federal charges, Miami-Dade prosecutors pursued state charges for a May 30th, 2021 King of Diamonds strip club shooting. Following his Memorial Day weekend performance at the notorious venue, an unidentified patron bumped Williams, causing cash estimated between $3,000 and $40,000 to fall from his pocket. Multiple patrons scrambled for the currency, creating chaos. Security guard Frivin Dorr grabbed Williams to de-escalate, but Williams allegedly drew a concealed handgun and fired 1 shot, striking Dorr in the ankle. Dorr told detectives his dodging motion saved him from torso impact. Club surveillance captured Williams brandishing the weapon during stage exit, the money incident, escort attempts, and the discharge. Williams and his entourage fled in a black Cadillac Escalade, while social media videos showed him tucking the gun away. Despite Williams posting Instagram stories denying the $40,000 robbery as exaggerated rumors, prosecutors filed aggravated battery with deadly weapon charges carrying 5 to 30-year sentences. Williams surrendered June 8, 2021, appearing before Judge Ellen Sue Venzer, who initially set $10,000 bond before revoking it June 10th after prosecutors highlighted overlapping federal charges and public safety concerns. On June 15, 2021, Dorr recanted through sworn affidavit, claiming pain medication influenced his statements and insisting injury resulted from crowd stampede rather than bullet. Prosecutors suspected witness tampering but found no evidence. The recantation weakened the state case but didn't eliminate prosecution given video evidence and corroborating witnesses. The strip club case resolved through incorporation into Williams's federal plea agreement. On January 4, 2022, Williams pleaded guilty to one reduced count of conspiring to possess firearms in furtherance of violent crimes and drug trafficking under Title 18 U.S.C. Section 924-0. This eliminated the mandatory 10-year consecutive sentence, dropped robbery charges entirely, and incorporated the King of Diamonds shooting without additional time. Trial conviction on discharge counts would have mandated 10 years consecutive after robbery sentences, potentially totaling 20-plus years. The plea capped exposure at 8 years maximum while providing acceptance of responsibility credit. Judge K. Michael Moore sentenced Williams to 63 months on April 20th, 2022, crediting approximately 10 months time served from his June 2021 arrest. Moore imposed 3 years supervised release with standard conditions including probation reporting, drug testing, employment requirements, and travel permissions, plus special conditions prohibiting firearms possession, victim contact, and entry to certain Miami venues. Moore ordered restitution totaling $156,507 for medical expenses, lost wages, pain compensation, and property value. Williams served time at United States Penitentiary Pollock in Louisiana, Federal Correctional Institution, Talladega in Alabama, and United States Penitentiary Coleman Essex in Florida. During incarceration, he participated in programs earning good conduct time credits, reducing sentences by approximately 15%. He took the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery Examination, completed First Step Act programming addressing criminal thinking, and engaged in physical fitness, educational courses, and recreation yard supervision jobs. First Step Act legislation from December 2018 provided opportunities for time credits through recidivism reduction programming, educational achievements, and vocational training, accelerating his release from July 2027 to October 2025. Williams maintained communication with family and industry associates through calls and approved visits. His conversations reflected mindset evolution, responsibility acceptance, sobriety commitment after years of heavy drug use, and determination to maximize post-release opportunities while avoiding conduct, returning him to custody.
So I was on everything, every drug, everything in pill form, all the drink, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's completely over me. It's like I'm trying to, my vision ain't clouded no more. Like I'm going forward, going towards my full potential.
He emphasized newfound clarity gained through forced abstinence in controlled prison environments where drugs remained inaccessible.
Industry-wise, like, all right, I'm gonna say rappers for sure. You got me like really taking their time out to sit down and write, like good men like Lil Baby, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Dirk, this overstood. This like, bruh, like, you know what I'm saying? He ain't missing a beat outside. Y'all familiar with Don Tripp?
Yeah, I know Don Tripp is.
Don Tripp, Starlito. Don Tripp just wrote me a letter the other day.
His institutional experience included witnessing serious violence and deaths at various facilities.
I talked to your father, my boss, one day. He called me. He was like, cause I check on you all the time. I was like, what's up with Pooh? He was like, man, Pooh locked down a couple cats that got killed in the joint. Got killed in Victorville.
These traumatic experiences reinforced prison dangers and motivated avoidance of conduct, risking return to custody. Despite facing conflicts with other inmates, Williams avoided serious disciplinary infractions, jeopardizing his good conduct credits. Industry support from Lil Baby, Lil Durk, Don Tripp, Starlito, and Gucci Mane through letters, calls, and public advocacy demonstrated his value and suggested commercial viability remained intact despite years away from active creation. The violent legacy and street credibility demanding blood. Pooh Shiesty's catalog generated over 2 billion Spotify streams despite incarceration limiting output. His aggressive lyrics, raw street narratives, and melodic hooks resonated with audiences seeking authentic Memphis street life representations. Back in Blood, released November 5th, 2020, featuring Lil Durk, achieved 8 times platinum certification and accumulated over 1.2 billion streams, peaking at number 13 on Billboard Hot 100. Lil Durk's opening bars, Pooh Shiesty, that's my dog, but Pooh Pooh, "You know I'm really Shiesty," became instantly quotable, cementing Williams' brand identity around cunning intelligence, survival instincts, and violence willingness. The 5-year anniversary on November 5th, 2025, generated substantial social media activity celebrating the track's enduring impact. Shiesty Summer, released June 23, 2020, featuring Chief Keef and Lil Durk, achieved triple platinum with 450 million streams, peaking at number 37. Backdoor with Lil Durk earned double platinum with 300 million streams, peaking at 71. The self-titled Pooh Shiesty featuring Big 30 achieved platinum with 200 million streams, peaking at 59. Guard Up featuring 21 Savage and Lil Durk earned platinum with 150 million streams, addressing constant threats facing street-affiliated rappers, maintaining vigilance against robbery, assassination, and surveillance. Williams' Shiesty Season mixtape, released in 2021, compiled hit singles with new material across 18 tracks, accumulating over 500 million streams. The project peaked at number 3 on Billboard 200 and achieved gold certification, establishing Williams as legitimate album artist beyond single success. Williams appeared on Drake's Wants and Needs, peaking at number 2 with 800 million streams, exposing him to Drake's global fan base. Multiple commentators noted Williams' verse compared favorably to Drake's contributions. His collaboration with Lil Baby and 21 Savage on Lifestyle achieved 5 times platinum with 600 million streams. Following release, Williams appeared on Lil Baby's Hit Bout It, accumulating 200 million streams and signaling comeback viability despite years away from active recording. Williams' catalog statistics demonstrate remarkable achievements despite truncated timeline. Approximately 30 singles plus 1 mixtape released primarily between 2020-2021 generated over 2 billion total streams. 20+ Recording Industry Association of America certifications established Williams among the most commercially successful artists emerging during 2020 when COVID-19 disrupted traditional operations. Following October 2025 release, streaming data indicated 30% catalog increases, demonstrating sustained audience interest and suggesting strong commercial potential for new releases, capitalizing on comeback narrative and curiosity about how incarceration affected his artistic approach. However, Williams' aggressive content and public conflicts created substantial dangers, intensifying following release. The rap industry's violence epidemic claimed King Von, Pop Smoke, Young Dolph, Takeoff, P&B Rock, and dozens of others through assassination, robbery, and street conflicts escalating from social media exchanges into lethal confrontations. Williams' specific conflicts remain opaque given limited public information about active beefs during incarceration, but concerning patterns emerge from lyrics, pre-imprisonment social media activity, and Memphis street politics, where rival factions maintain feuds erupting into shooting incidents and murder investigations, rarely resulting in convictions due to witness intimidation and community distrust of law enforcement. Memphis consistently ranks among America's most dangerous cities according to FBI statistics, with violent crime rates substantially exceeding national averages and homicide rates placing the city among the top 10 most murderous urban areas. The street culture operates according to codes valuing reputation defense, swift retaliation against disrespect, and violent responses to perceived challenges carrying existential significance within communities where reputation determines survival prospects. Williams' rapid rise occurred amid this volatility, where newfound wealth, media attention, and street credibility made him both robbery target and adversary to rivals, viewing his success as threatening their positions within hierarchies governing respect, fear, and power distribution. The violence characterizing Williams' legal troubles, shooting 2 men during the hotel incident and allegedly shooting a security guard at King of Diamonds, demonstrated his willingness to employ potentially lethal force when perceiving threats or disrespect. This established reputation serves dual purposes: deterring potential adversaries, recognizing attacking Williams carries substantial violent response risk, while encouraging others viewing his proven willingness to shoot as evidence that eliminating him would remove a dangerous enemy before preemptive strikes. Beyond individual beefs, Williams faces structural dangers inherent to his demographic position as young, wealthy black man from impoverished Memphis neighborhoods who achieves success through rap while maintaining street connections. Robbery remains constant threat as criminals specifically target rappers leaving studios, clubs, hotels carrying valuable jewelry, cash, and vehicles.
You got shit like the dust on again. What we doing? What's up, my little twin, man? We got shit like the dust. My little brother sitting in this shit, playing in this shit, man. My little brother done been driving this shit, man. I I don't do this no.
This statement suggests Williams recognizes need for lower profile than his pre-incarceration lifestyle, characterized by expensive rentals, heavy jewelry, and public appearances attracting positive fan attention and negative interest from criminals, rivals, and law enforcement. His reference to preferring Slim over Birdman indicates inclination toward behind-scenes operations rather than flashy persona, though his acknowledgement of getting on Birdman stuff suggests flexibility depending on circumstances. However, stated intentions toward lower-key approaches may prove difficult, maintaining given competitive industry position, fan expectations for public engagement, and Memphis street culture's emphasis on visible success demonstration as prerequisite for maintaining respect and deterring challenges from rivals, interpreting low profiles as weakness, inviting exploitation. Staying alive while staying free. The modern rap industry's violence epidemic demonstrates that wealth, security personnel, and public profiles provide insufficient protection against determined adversaries. King Von's November 2020 death outside an Atlanta hookah lounge following altercation with Quando Rondo affiliates escalated from verbal confrontation to shooting, leaving Von dead and multiple wounded. Pop Smoke's February 2020 murder in Hollywood Hills rental resulted from targeted home invasion by gang-affiliated robbers who identified his location through social media posts revealing property address. Young Dolph's November 2021 assassination in Memphis occurred at Makita's Cookies when gunmen opened fire in broad daylight in Commercial District. Takeoff's November 2022 murder outside Houston Bowling Alley resulted from dice game dispute when he was struck by bullets intended for others. PNB Rock's September 2022 death at Los Angeles. Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles occurred when robbers entered after his girlfriend's Instagram post revealed location, shooting him despite compliance. Pooh Shiesty release into this environment creates immediate danger from multiple threat vectors. His status as recently released federal prisoner, carrying substantial street credibility, proven violence history, and restitution debt makes him attractive target. Williams must pay $156,507 restitution, creating financial pressure, potentially motivating participation in risky activities, including performances at poorly secured venues, and association with individuals involved in criminal enterprises generating quick income, but exposing Williams to violence, law enforcement attention, and supervised release violations. His 3 years federal supervised release imposed restrictions requiring probation reporting, drug testing, employment participation, financial disclosures, travel permissions, and special conditions including firearms prohibition, victim contact ban, anger management counseling, and geographic restrictions. These conditions create technical violation risks, returning Williams to prison without new criminal charges if probation officers document non-compliance. The supervised release extends until approximately April 2028, creating 3-year window balancing music career obligations requiring travel, public appearances, and social media engagement against supervision requirements designed for conventional release prisoners pursuing traditional employment rather than entertainment careers involving irregular schedules, interstate touring, late-night recording, and association with individuals potentially having criminal histories constituting prohibited contact. Williams' substance abuse history creates additional vulnerability, as admitted heavy drug and alcohol use prior to incarceration might resume under celebrity lifestyle pressures, industry temptations, and self-medication for trauma, anxiety, and depression. Many recently released prisoners experience during reintegration.
So I was on everything, every drug, everything in pill form, all the drink, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's completely over me. It's like I'm trying to, my vision ain't clouded no more. Like I'm going forward, going towards my full potential.
However, maintaining sobriety outside prison's controlled environment proves difficult facing entertainment industry's substance-saturated culture, where drug and alcohol use constitutes normalized social activity. Williams' strategic approach will determine success navigating threat categories while building sustainable career-generating income, maintaining fan engagement, and establishing long-term financial security. His immediate studio session with K Carbon and BI-30 demonstrated priorities toward music creation rather than street activities or celebrations exposing him to violence or law enforcement. A successful project debut could generate substantial streaming revenue, touring opportunities, merchandise sales, and licensing deals, providing financial foundation while demonstrating productive reintegration through legitimate employment. However, music success carries dangers beyond generic threats facing wealthy public figures. Williams' specific lyrical content, street affiliations, and violence reputation make him a particular target for rivals rivals, seeking to enhance status by attacking successful adversaries, eliminate competitive threats before Williams reestablishes market dominance, or exact revenge for perceived disrespect contained in lyrics or public statements. His lyrics frequently reference specific conflicts, name adversaries, describe violent acts, and articulate disrespect in terms street codes interpret as requiring violent responses, maintaining honor and credibility. Williams's future lyrical content choices will affect safety and legal vulnerability. Continuing aggressive approaches naming enemies and describing violence might satisfy fan expectations and maintain street credibility, but increases danger from rivals feeling disrespected and prosecutors viewing lyrics as confession or conspiracy evidence. Moderating content toward less specific confrontational material might reduce risks, but could damage authenticity, core fan appeal, and market differentiation in crowded trap music field, where artists compete by escalating violence rhetoric to progressively extreme levels. Williams' criminal history and proven shooting willingness create complications regarding safety and freedom preservation. His supervised release conditions explicitly prohibit firearm possession, yet realistic threats might tempt illegal weapons acquisition for self-defense. Being caught with firearms would constitute serious supervised release violation, triggering immediate arrest and potential return to federal prison for years, yet traveling unarmed in environments where rivals might attack creates vulnerability to potentially fatal violence. Weapons might prevent or deter. This impossible choice, risking death through legal compliance versus risking freedom through illegal self-protection, exemplifies tragic positions facing released federal prisoners attempting reintegrating into violent communities while satisfying stringent supervision requirements designed without consideration for lethal street realities. Williams' public statements about transformation suggest genuine commitment, avoiding behaviors returning him to prison. However, maintaining this perspective when facing real threats proves more difficult than abstract commitments made from prison's relative safety. When adversaries issue threats, when disrespect demands response according to street codes, Williams followed throughout life. When financial pressures mount and risky opportunities present themselves promising quick income, the discipline required to consistently prioritize legal compliance over immediate situational imperatives may prove unsustainable, regardless of sincere intentions. The title, Pooh Shiesty begs ops to not kill him after his release, suggests desperation and vulnerability that publicly available information does not clearly substantiate. While Williams certainly faces substantial dangers from multiple sources, no verified reports establish he has explicitly begged adversaries for mercy or expressed public fear about assassination attempts following release. However, the title's provocative framing reflects legitimate concerns about Williams' safety given broader rap industry violence context, his specific conflicts and criminal history, and structural vulnerabilities affecting recently released prisoners attempting navigating violent environments while complying with restrictive supervision conditions. Whether Williams has literally begged for protection remains unclear, but dangers facing him are undeniably real and could materialize at any moment through robbery, assassination, or law enforcement action, ending his freedom or life, despite apparent intentions focusing on music rather than street activities. His 5-year Back in Blood anniversary occurring precisely on this script's composition date creates poignant symbolism, celebrating past success while contemplating uncertain future where Williams must prove whether his expressed transformation represents genuine evolution or merely strategic prison rhetoric evaporating under freedom's pressures and temptations. Pooh Shiesty stands at the most precarious crossroads of his 24-year existence, balancing on razor's edge between redemption through sustained music career success and destruction through violence, incarceration, or death that has consumed countless artists from similar circumstances. His October 7, 2025 release from federal custody activated countdown clock measuring, whether 3 years of forced reflection, sobriety, and transformation rhetoric translates into behavioral changes sustaining his freedom through the supervised release period extending to April 2028, or whether street pressures, financial obligations, substance temptations, and violence threats overwhelm his stated commitment to avoiding conduct returning him to prison. The mathematical calculation of Williams's survival prospects incorporates multiple variables beyond his individual willpower and strategic intelligence. Memphis street politics, where rival factions maintain blood feuds, rap industry violence epidemic claiming lives of Pop Smoke, King Von, Young Dolph, Takeoff, and PNB Rock through assassination and robbery. Financial pressures from $156,000 restitution obligations, supervised release conditions prohibiting firearms possession while adversaries remain armed, substance abuse history, threatening relapse under celebrity lifestyle pressures, and lyrical content choices affecting both street safety and prosecutorial scrutiny combine into equation where success requires threading impossibly narrow path between competing demands and contradictory imperatives. His catalog's 2 2 billion streams, and Back in Blood's 8 times platinum certification demonstrate commercial viability, persisting through incarceration, suggesting comeback project capitalizing on anniversary momentum and fan anticipation could generate substantial revenue, establishing financial foundation, reducing pressure toward risky activities. However, music success amplifies rather than reduces danger by increasing robbery target value, intensifying rival artist jealousy, motivating violence, elevating law enforcement scrutiny, seeking supervised release violations, and creating public exposure, enabling adversaries to identify vulnerability windows for attacks. Williams's expressed transformation during imprisonment, sobriety commitment, responsibility acceptance, family priority articulation, strategic career focus over street activities, provides optimistic indicators suggesting maturity evolution supporting successful reintegration. His immediate post-release studio session with K Carbon and Big 30, rather than celebrations exposing him to violence, demonstrated priorities aligned with probation officer expectations and long-term success requirements. His stated preference for low-key operation style over flashy public persona recognizes that discreet movement reduces multiple threat categories simultaneously. However, maintaining disciplined compliance when facing real threats rather than abstract principles tests resolve in ways phone calls from prison safety cannot replicate. When disrespect demands response according to street codes Williams followed throughout his life, when financial desperation creates temptation toward prohibited conduct generating quick income, when substance availability tests sobriety commitment under stress and trauma self-medication impulses, when adversaries issue credible threats requiring defensive responses potentially violating firearms prohibitions, the gap between stated intentions and actual behaviors determines whether Williams joins successful post-incarceration comeback narratives or becomes another cautionary tale about talented individuals destroyed by circumstances they cannot escape despite sincere transformation efforts. The title's suggestion that Williams begs adversaries for mercy lacks verification through public evidence, yet captures legitimate uncertainty about whether his proven violence willingness deters attacks or encourages preemptive strikes by rivals viewing him as dangerous enemy requiring elimination. His fate ultimately depends on choices made in coming months and years as he navigates impossible balancing act between music career obligations, supervision compliance, personal safety, and street code expectations that have destroyed numerous others attempting similar transitions. Whether Pooh Shiesty's story concludes with sustained success, demonstrating redemption's possibility, or tragic ending, reinforcing street life's inescapability, remains unwritten, contingent on daily decisions, balancing survival against freedom in environments where choosing correctly often proves impossible and choosing incorrectly proves fatal. Thanks for watching. Check out other cards on the screen.